Boxing fans, how you guys doing today, man? What's up? What's going on with y'all? Hope your family's well. Hope you're good. Hope your financial condition, your spiritual condition, your physical condition. Hope everything is right. You know what I'm saying? Hope you're putting in work. You know what I'm saying? I haven't made boxing videos for a while because I went on a cruise and stuff like that. But I'm back now. I saw the cover. Oh, by the way, I don't know. I need to shed light on this. South Africans in Africa, they're killing immigrants, killing Nigerians, killing people like that. Doing a lot of crazy things, man. I just pray that God kind of like that the Most High, kind of solves their situation because it's very barbaric, man. So if you guys on your Instagrams and your YouTubes and your Facebook, please shed light on that. Google it and see what's going on. It's really bad, guys. Okay, so let me see. I've never made a video on the Kovalev fight, but that was a good fight, man. That was a good fight. I felt like the right person won. Obviously, was a knockout, but that fight could have went either way, especially there round eight. I felt like if homeboy had pushed the action a little bit, he probably would have won that fight. That was a very good fight. But Kovalev still proved that he's a veteran and he still has what it takes, to compete at a high level. Even though he needs to start working on that freaking the body punching ability, man. He doesn't take punches to the body really well. So a lot of people could just, and he's still a dangerous fighter. It's just that, some of their weakness is starting to become a little bit obvious. And I don't know if it's the weight class, but Kovalev is really starting to show like, man, the body is his Achilles heel. But enough with Kovalev. Let's talk about Vasyl Lomachenko. Woo! Vasyl Lomachenko, obviously one of the best fighters that I've seen, straight up, right? But their last fight with Campbell, if you guys watch my prediction video, I said Lomachenko was going to win, so I'm not surprised that he won. But it's just that I watched the fight over like maybe 2, 3 more times. But in boxing, I see, I like to find patterns. And in as much as I think Lomachenko is the truth, there's certain boxers that are on top right now, winning every fight, that you still waiting to see what their weakness is. A good example for me would be Errol Spence, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Errol Spence is a better fighter than Lomachenko pound for pound. He's not. But I'm still trying to see somebody. I'm still trying to see some of the weaknesses. I don't. It's every time I see him, he gets better. So I'm still waiting to see some of the things that I'll start pointing out that okay, this is a clear weakness for Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford, same thing, kind of. Vasyl Lomachenko. I've always said to beat Lomachenko, two things beats Lomachenko. Number one, Lomachenko himself. And when I say himself, I mean the fact that maybe he just gets hold and his legs go, because I've never seen anybody with better legs than Lomachenko. Because when the leg movement goes and is not as swift in his movement, I wonder what else he's gonna do. But it's not that time yet. Number two, and which is more dangerous, is this going up in weight classes. I don't see Lomachenko going up to 147. I think 135 is about it. Maybe he might be able to go to 140. But if you guys look at these fights are getting harder for Loma. And it's not getting hard because Loma is a bad fighter. He's a very good fighter. But he's a small fighter that's going up in weight classes. He's getting... He doesn't get hit a lot, right? But he gets hit with hard punches. A guy like Floyd doesn't get hit a lot, but Floyd, above all, doesn't really get hit with a lot of hard punches. For a while, we haven't seen Floyd get hit as hard as Shane Mosley hit him. That's why a lot of us was like, ooh, just flush, just clean. When Floyd fought Cotto hit him, but none of those punches were clean. He was just kind of roughhousing. When Floyd fought Oscar De La Hoya, De La Hoya hit him too, but it wasn't clean. He was rolling with the punches. You know, it wasn't like a flush, clean hit like the one Shane Mosley hit him with. Lomachenko gets hit clean. And not all, like, please guys, I don't want you guys to get me wrong, because I think Lomachenko is a good fighter. It's just that Lomachenko gets hit clean. And when he gets hit clean, these fighters that are hitting him cleanly are getting bigger because of the weight class move. So he's starting to feel that. Just look at the patterns. He got knocked down by Linares. Now there's about 1, 2, or 3 times that he really got hit so hard by Campbell. There was one that even he himself acknowledged. And even he said, oh, Campbell is a hard fighter. And Campbell is a hard fighter, not because Campbell is a better fighter than Lomachenko at all. It's just that he used his assets well. When I say assets, I'm talking about his jab, his long frame, and his distance. But even with that, you guys saw what Lomachenko did. Knocked him down. You know, the smaller fighter was the one chasing the bigger fighter. So I don't want nobody to think that I'm talking down on Lomachenko, because I am not. This guy is simply one of the best that I've seen. It's just that in boxing, you have to look at patterns. And I'm starting to see some vulnerability. Now, there's some good news here. One of the good news is some of the major people that they call in as an opponent for Lomachenko, I don't think they could beat Lomachenko. I don't think Gervonta Davis can beat Lomachenko, and I don't think Devin Haney could beat Lomachenko. Even though I think Devin Haney might have a better chance if he can handle Lomachenko, because I don't know if he can even handle him. If he can handle him, and if he uses his jab, because I think Devin Haney is a lot taller than Lomachenko and bigger. I don't think Gervonta Davis could beat Lomachenko, because if you're not taller than Lomachenko and you're not really swift on your foot, which I don't think Gervonta Davis really is, I just don't see how. But we'll talk about that video in another time. When that fight comes, we'll dissect it and break it down. Lomachenko is getting hit a little too cleanly for me. I want you guys to understand, he's a good fighter, but let's look at the patterns. He's getting hit a little too cleanly. When he got hit by Linares, that was a clean punch. He didn't roll or nothing. And another thing that I think Lomachenko needs to start working on is he has excellent movement and he's very defensive. But if you look at those movements, sometimes they look like they can be timed. But some of the times, especially in his last couple of fights that I've seen Lomachenko actually hit, flush, is because the fighter timed them. Just look at the Linares left that dropped Lomachenko. Look at it. It was a very timed punch. And it wasn't timed based on Linares' rhythm. It was timed based on Lomachenko's movement. And it just drew the line and just straight left, and it dropped him. There was a couple of times that Campbell hit Lomachenko really flush too. Not based on anything Campbell is doing, just based on him washing. And sometimes Lomachenko, repeats those moves. He switches it up, but sometimes it repeats it where you can time him. And sometimes when you throw a jab at Lomachenko, he parries that jab, but you see him, he doesn't do anything back with his upper body, with his hands. He does stuff with his leg, but not his body. You can time him at that point. It's gonna be, of course, it's easier said than done. But I see it sometimes like, oh, Lomachenko parry, nice parry, but that jab was not a strong jab. It was just kind of like a rage placer. Sometimes those kind of jabs, you got to attack from them so people don't time you. I'm not saying Lomachenko is not a good fighter, but these are some of the weaknesses that I'm starting to see. I'm going to call this video Lomachenko versus Lomachenko because I think Lomachenko beats himself at some point in time, but we'll see. What do you guys think? Is there something that I'm missing? Am I, contradicting him a little bit too much? Am I being hard on Lomachenko? Let me see what you guys think, man. Let's talk in the charts. All right, you guys put your comments there. I hope your family is good. I hope everything works well with you. I hope this week continues to bless you. And South Africans, you guys stop that nonsense. We're one.